Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today's episode is going to be featuring Gregg Clunis, and he is the founder over at Kojo. Gregg, welcome to the show.
Adam, thank you so much for having me, man. Super excited for this convo.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics lately is the algorithm. How do we beat it? What's going on? How does AI work into this, creating content? This is all up my alley, and I'm excited to learn from you as well. But to get us started here, how did you get into this business, like of content creation and of marketing? Like, where did all this begin for you?
Yeah, I kind of got lucky. I'm not going to lie. So junior year of high school, so this is just to date myself a little bit here, back in 2009, I wanted to buy my first car and very quickly realized that my minimum wage at McDonald's was not going to get me there. So I stumbled upon like blogging and affiliate marketing and that kind of thing. And back then I was playing a whole lot of World of Warcraft.
2009? So this would be right after the
early.
Wow, this is right after kind of like the housing crisis. This is like all the pricing on ads, advertising. I mean, everything. It was a whole new world. Continue. This is just awesome. A great story. So you have some context too in this business. Please continue.
Yeah. I got in really, really early. I think back then, like the term digital marketing wasn't even really used.
No way.
Like
We were
marketing.
still trying to like having, if you had a website back then, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. I happened to be playing a whole lot of World of Warcraft and found a bunch of guides and things that had affiliate links. So started blogging on like Blogspot back then and just writing reviews of things, linking out, and ended up making enough money to buy my first car. And I was just kind of hooked after that. I'm not going to lie.
What was the attraction to the industry, just in general? Like what part of it attracted you? Mm-hmm.
You know what? Growing up, I loved the process of taking something from my head and making it into a real thing. I've always been attracted to like that type of work. So, I ended up as an art major. And even prior to that, I was learning sculpting and engineering and basically anything that I could get my hands on to like make something tangible. And when I found content, it became this opportunity to make things very quickly and get feedback very quickly. Because, if you make a painting, your mom might say it's great, but most of us don't get the opportunity to put it up in a gallery and get people to look at it, right? If I make a video and I post it to Instagram, I'm immediately getting an understanding of, was that a good video? What should I have done differently? Was this idea good? Should I keep pursuing it? Like that sort of like feedback-driven creativity is just always something that I've loved.
Wow. If that's kind of at the root of what you enjoy, then you must be loving this whole AI revolution or whatever we want to call it. I don't know, but just the feedback and tracking and like the ease and the decreasing cost for certain things, right?
Yeah.
Like, where do you stand now? Like, is this just like, it's got to be fun in my opinion. I'm just trying, but I don't want to project. Like, where do you stand now?
Yeah, so I'm mixed. I'm not going to lie. So I use AI a lot, like I think most people in my field do. I'm currently using it for software engineering a lot, and that's obviously wonderful because I already knew how to code, but it's able to help me do things that I can't do. And so that process of taking an idea, making it real, all of a sudden I can build things that used to only exist in my head. That's incredible. Where I get hesitant is just this conversation of like AI generated content, right? So especially when we're looking at AI influencers, like that becomes scary to me only because the creative piece of it, the human piece of it does matter. That is what made content work.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to lie, though. One of my things one day, Gregg, and I know I can already do it in the softwares, all that stuff exists and I get all that. But man, my catalog, I can't wait to the day when I'm an old man. Well, I don't want to be an old man anytime soon, but way back in the future, I'm going to be like, man, upload. I've done over 6,000 interviews. I'm like, let's change that a hologram. And Adam's going to be doing interviews. And I've had a bunch of people offer to do it for me already. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready yet. But I already know. But I'm going to be laughing because I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm getting old. Like, did I do that interview or did AI Adam do it? I don't remember.
But what's cool is like, so I agree with you, right? Like I'm not ready to make that leap yet. And
I'm not ready, but I know it's going to happen eventually, but I'm not ready. I held out on Chat GPT for as long as I could. I mean, at the basic level, I'm like, I'm not doing it. My team would be like, what do you mean, Adam? You pay for everybody at this. I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to have to use AI to read your dang AI email. Don't send me nothing that. I don't want some long email. Great. You know how to push a button. Don't do it. I ain't reading it.
Yep, completely agree. But then here's what's cool, and here's what I am doing right now, and what I'm seeing a lot of the biggest creators do is using AI today to overdub, right? So you are recording in English, your audience is primarily English. There's no reason why you can't take your archive and turn it into a completely different language. And all of a sudden it's accessible to people in China or Mexico or wherever it might be. And that to me is exciting.
Now. Yeah, and it's so inexpensive now to get all of that done. It's just so interesting to me. Once upon a time, that would have been like a Herculean feat and a pain. Now it's like, it's good enough.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, and it's just getting started. It'll get better and better and better. We're so early into this whole thing that it's going to continue to get better. Like it's definitely not going to get worse, put it that way.
100%.
Let's relate some of this back to some of the business owners and types of, and actually before we get into that, what's your sweet spot? Like what type of clientele do you work at? And just to frame this for the conversation, what type of clientele do you feel gets the most value out of working with you and your team at Kojo, so we can kind of frame the conversation?
Yeah, so the most value I would say is the SMB, like D2C brand that is doing 3 to 5 million in revenue. They're doing well, but they're trying to figure out like what their consistent go-to-market strategy looks like.
How do they get to 10?
Exactly. With that said, we're across the board, right? So we have several enterprise clients, and we have a handful of clients that are like just starting out. So what we found is that content is content is content. And it kind of doesn't matter what industry you're in, what niche you speak to, how large you are. Like if you make good content and you sort of follow the practices that we know work, you have a real shot of getting in front of your target customer.
Yeah. And thank you for kind of framing that. And so why do you feel that maybe many small businesses or just brands in general kind of struggle with social media, this concept of creating content to hit their target market?
Yeah. So this is something I realized kind of recently, I'm not going to lie. So one of our biggest clients on the enterprise side, we do a lot of like requests for proposals with them. And it's us, again, it's a bunch of other companies that are pitching for the same business. And something I started noticing was whenever we would get the contract, the content would drastically outperform, both on the organic content side of things and on paid. So I started asking this question, like, why is that? And what I learned talking to other people in the space and our clients is most companies, and this is on the agency side and on the brand side, they make content from the perspective of the brand. So the easiest way for me to explain this is pretend you're an agency and you are pitching a client. You're going to go to them and pitch them something that is exciting to them for the brand. And that's what's going to get you the contract. From there, you're then going to make something that is for the brand. At no point in this process is a single person thinking, what does the viewer want? Like, what is it that people actually want to watch?
Like, what's actually entertaining? What's happening in the market?
Exactly. What's actually entertaining?
Attention right now. Yeah.
What we kind of stumbled upon, and we only got there because most of my team were creators before we started doing the agency thing. But what we stumbled upon was because we were creators, we think like creators. And so our first question is, what do people want to watch? And then from there, we go to the brand and say, hey, this is the idea. Let's work backwards to make sure the brand fits into it, but it's going to be a consumer-facing idea. So to wrap that up and answer the question a little bit more directly, the biggest mistake brands make across the board is they're not making content that people actually want to watch. And that question of like, what is it that people want to watch? Instead, they're thinking, well, we need to include the brand in this way. We need to control this messaging. We need to publish in this way and on this cadence. Like they're thinking about all of these like strategic details, which are good, but they're completely ignoring the quality of the creative. And by quality, I don't mean cameras. I mean like, it could be excuse my language, shittiest video in the world, but if people want to watch it, they want to watch it.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I love it. And I tell people this all the time. It's like, would you want to watch the content that you created? Have you ever watched a video like that? And if they're like, no. And so one of the things how we differentiate ourselves in the podcast space is I really consider this more of an experiential podcast. So what I mean by that is I travel quite a bit and I actually cover conferences. So right now I'm in Miami. I'm home based out of LA, but right now I'm in Miami and I'm covering something. I just came from Washington, D.C. And the way I like to look at it is I'm taking my viewers all around the country and all around the world. And some of this they would maybe not be able to have access to, or like the barrier of entry. Like one of the conferences I cover, the Milken conference, is $35,000 just for a ticket. Like not everybody's going to spend 35 G's on a ticket. So they get access to the information, the speakers, the people that they wouldn't have access to if they didn't listen to this show. And I'm there real time. And then for some people, even if they have all the money in the world and they're listening to this, they just don't have the time to do it. Like they don't got time to go to this conference or do this or that or all these other things. So I'm bringing them experiences and other things. So I'm looking at and I talk to conference organizers in our pitch. So you were talking about pitches. And I always, when we're pitching a new conference or something to pay us to come out and do this work and to do we call it our broadcasting package. When we do that, I always tell them, I'm like, you spend X amount on the AV and all the stuff, and they're going to record that panel, and then you're going to put that panel up. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever in your life watched a panel discussion on YouTube? No. So you just spent, 50 G's on doing all this stuff that nobody's going to watch. If you won't watch a panel discussion on YouTube, why do you think any of your peers would or anybody else will? And the answer is they won't. So think about the end person. So I'm like, hire me and they're going to watch it.
Because then what you need to do as the brand or the strategist, if you're an agency, is, think about the end person. How do we present the thing we're doing from the perspective of the way they want to consume it? So do people sit and watch panels? No. But do people sit and watch clips from panels? Absolutely.
Yes.
So instead of let's record an hour and a half panel and just plop it onto YouTube, because we know people aren't going to watch that, let's think about how we capture it from the perspective of clips, because that's what people are going to be most interested in.
Great. And so this is where I love it. It's a great use case example. And I think taking it one step further, I like what you talked about when you said about the quality of it. And does that matter? Does it not? Sure, there's going to be 1,000 different use cases, whatever. But the point at the end of the day still is what my litmus test is, would I watch it? If I won't even watch it, why would I expect somebody else to want to do it? It's just not going to happen. That's got to be a test somewhere in there. And I'm not saying I have any metrics on that, but that's just my personal one. I'm like, man, who's going to watch that? I ain't going to watch that. You ain't going to watch it. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great first question. If you're ever stuck, and this is to the listeners there, if you're ever stuck trying to figure out, is this good or not? The question should be, do I like this or not?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to circle back to the AI side of things for a bit. And I know in our agency and just in general, we're using AI. Everybody uses AI for processes, for other things. I mean, you got to do it at some point. So what would you say, if for somebody that's maybe newer, that's thinking about using AI and starting to experiment with not the people that have been in it and are obsessed with AI and all that, they kind of know what they're doing. But for the newbie, I want to talk to just for a moment, if they're considering using AI or implementing something, where do you think they begin on that journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think the obvious answer is your ChatGPT, right? And it's easy to jump into and start to figure out what this thing is capable of. Because really, that's the first question that you need to answer is just, do I understand what this can do and what it's honestly just really bad at? Yeah. Once you have a better picture of that, you can start to figure out where to layer it. I would actually suggest before opening up ChatGPT, take a step back to just kind of understand the different types of AI, because we have started to use this blanket term that really, when people say that, they mean LLMs and ChatGPT. And for those who aren't familiar, LLM is large language model. But there is obviously machine vision. There is machine learning. There's AI that just runs in the background and improves the quality of your photos or your video edits or whatever it is, right? Those aren't LLMs. So the best thing you can do if you're trying to incorporate AI into your workflow or your company's workflow is, yes, play around with your ChatGPT and so on and so forth, but also look at the tools that already exist that are utilizing AI to improve your day-to-day life. So if you run a video editing agency, there are a number of video editing tools. Some of them exist directly in Premiere Pro that can handle the first pass of an edit for you, right? And that's going to save you, 2-3 hours a week versus, like if you don't understand what it is that this stuff is capable of, and maybe even more importantly, what this stuff even actually is, because it goes so much further than ChatGPT, it's always going to feel confusing to figure out how you implement it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And there's just so many use cases and ways that people can enhance. I'm like, you gotta get in there and start something. Like at the end of the day, because if you don't, those that do, what's happening is, especially agencies and otherwise, whatever business, if you don't start doing that, what's happening is somebody else is, and they're maybe accomplishing more with either less workforce or with the same workforce, but they're becoming more productive and more skilled. And it's kind of hard to catch up on these things. Like you're literally changing a culture of a company. And I don't care if you got 3 employees or 300 or 3,000, changing a culture in anything, because we're humans still operating this stuff. It's not easy. So, start now, like, cause every day that you don't do something, at least dip your toe in the water. Like that's what I tell people, like at least start like a little bit of something, whatever the lowest hanging fruit is for you, because you got to start having the language and start being able to have those conversations, because it's not going away. Like it's not going away.
Yeah, I mean, listen, how quickly you make progress, and this is true for anything, how quickly you make progress is always directly correlated to the rate at which you learn new information. So if you are trying something and it fails, you've just learned a bit of information, do that really fast, and you're going to be surprised how quickly you're able to pick up these tools or anything else that you want to learn in the future. And that's what I was doing when I taught myself to code, like during the early days of COVID. It was literally just bang my head against the wall for 7 hours a day until I figured out what I was doing. And that happened very, very rapidly because of that approach.
It's awesome. Gregg, I will say great.
It's not fun to do it, though.
No. Well, that's growth, right? That's growth. And it's not supposed to be fun. If it doesn't hurt a little, you ain't growing. That's what I said. It's got a little bit, like you're at the gym, you got to like push a little bit, so or else you're not going to feel that real benefit. So, Gregg, this has been awesome having you on the show today. I learned a lot. I'm sure my audience did as well. If somebody wants to follow up, they want to learn more about Kojo, working with you and your team, follow your content, how do they do that?
Yeah, so we're actually doing something really cool over at Kojo where we're sort of pivoting towards being a software-first company. So we built an AI content strategist. What it does is it helps paid and organic social teams or individuals take their existing data, their best performing ads or content, and turn it into new content ideas, predict which ones are most likely to work, and then send those ideas over to a network of UGC creators. And it does all of that in under 30 seconds. Wow. So if that sounds like something that you'd benefit from, I would love to give you a demo. Obviously, no obligation. Head over to kojo.gg. That's kojo.gg. And just hit the request a demo button. We'll get on a call. If nothing else, I'd love to hear your opinion on it.
That's awesome. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some information in the show notes, put some links in there as well, so you can just head right on over and get that demo. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day I'm bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Gregg, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to those of you who took the time to listen.